Oh, awesome.
So
By the way, if anyone wants that guitar, let me know. I need to pay for some drums I just bought. All right, it's 8:13 and we got 6 people in here. But and 3 of us are Awo, at least 3 of us are Awo. So we always need more Santeros in here. I just wanted to start with I got back from Cuba last week, but the thing that made me think of something here is I'm reading this book by Ivor Miller about Abacoa. I posted this in the Discord, and it was he said it was from Gambia, a saying, every elder is a burning library. And I just thought that was an awesome saying, because it not just says that an elder has information that you can get, but also expresses the urgency with which you need to do it, because you don't know how long they're going to be around.
and the fragility of that.
Yep.
That's
So one cool thing on my trip, which wasn't the most successful trip I've ever been on. Cuba's pretty crappy right now, and communication was more difficult. Next time I go, if anyone's planning on going, get your own cell phone, Cuban cell phone, make it a lot easier. But I was able to, I have a friend, Martin Sang, who does excellent beadwork, if anyone's looking for that, but his godfather lives in Regla, and he sent me some stuff to bring to him. I said, sure, because an excuse to go visit an elder is right. I mean, that's great. You don't have to just call up and ask to drop in. So I headed over there one day to Regla and stopped by. His name is Chinito. Both him and Martin are actually Cuban Chinese. And he was physically in bad shape. He's got diabetes, I guess, so he's lost half of his leg and all that. But I brought him the stuff Martin had sent, and then I also brought him medicine and all that. But I sat there for 2.5, 3 hours and just listened to him, really. I mean, that's all. And I hope people realize that's kind of, when you're in front of an elder, the expectation is for you to just shut up and listen. Of course, you ask questions and you follow up, and if there's something you want to know more of. But yeah, just listening is such a blessing. And then also for them, I think, because it breaks up their day, right? Especially for elderly people. But it also gives them a chance just to talk about everything. So I think that's a blessing for them as well. But I thought that was really cool. That was a good experience, being able to hang out there. I can't remember anything great that came of it other than just talking. He did show me, man, he's also a bead person. And wow, he's got some beautiful beadwork. He said everybody in his house, every Orisha lives on an Odo, right? A pilon, a beaded one. And he was working on one for Oshun. And, it's like, you can't say, it's, this tall. This is my table's right here. So it's not like this tall from the ground. But the whole thing was beaded yellow and all that, had big boobs on it. It was beautiful, not just the boobs. But then he also had some bante for bata drums that he did. Excellent, beautiful stuff. So that's all. I want to start with that. So for those that don't know, I think Crab and I might be the only 2 that do know, there is a Google Doc for us to put topics. So I'm just going to start with one of those, and then I'll shut up. I'll ask the question and then listen to some answers. So the first question here is, how did you know you were ready for godchildren? And second follow-up, how did they find you? So anyone want to go first? How did you know you were ready for godchildren? And then how did...
No. Now I get in trouble.
Who wants to raise their hand and go first? You can unmute yourself, because I think everybody's muted, so make sure you unmute yourself. All right, Anthony. Anthony unmuted himself first.
What's up?
How's it going?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm all right.
Yeah, you accidentally heard my wife and took a pause on what you were saying, so I figured I'd go ahead and mute that real quick.
Oh, that's all right. What's your name? What's your name in the Discord or in Reddit?
Hold on. I'm new to all of this stuff.
That's all right.
Let me go back, because I had asked about, I literally just joined your group, and I had
okay.
Asking about it. Hold on, give me a second. I don't see it anywhere, but let me go into my settings. I could probably tell you. Responsible claim 284.
Responsible claim to what?
It says responsible dash plane 284.
Oh, okay, that's your Reddit. Oh, so you're new to Reddit too?
Yeah, I don't have a Discord or any of those
Oh, okay.
things.
Are you initiated?
Yes, the only thing that I have right now though is my Alekis. That's the only
Oh,
step
okay,
that
cool.
I've taken.
So how did you find your godparent?
Honestly, okay, so there's a local botanica at my store, and one of my brother-in-laws had came to me one day randomly and was like, "Hey, I don't know what's telling me that I feel like you need to be a part of this religion, but I feel like you need to be a part of the religion." So for the first step, what I did was I went to the botanica, I checked out what I needed to do to get started with my process. And as we all know, the first step in the process is el egua. Without el egua, you don't have anything. So I bought myself a small statue of el egua. I had bought a candle for him, some what is that called? Some sage to like clean out my house. And from there, it's kind of like a weird story. So I did all of that. I lit the candle up. I saged my room. Sorry, I kind of hear myself like feeding back to me, so it's kind of
Oh,
distracting.
from me, it doesn't sound bad. I can tell there's people in the background, but I can hear you clear.
Is that
Okay. Yeah.
That helps. Like, totally has no headphones on.
You still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So anyways, what I had done was I lit the candle, I saged my room, and I woke up the next morning, and what I had seen is very particular and weird. So I had like a third floor apartment, and I had this specific room. It was 2 bedrooms. In the back window, there's no fire escape to get up there or anything like that. But there's like a little roof area. I only use that room to smoke in. So I'm looking out the window, and on the roof area, the roof area had snow on it, and in the snow, like some symbols were drawn. Like in the middle, it looked like it was like El Egua, like an El Egua head, like the stone head, and then on the side of it, there was like, you know how those like tiki masks, like that
Right.
the Hawaiian have. Like I seen like 3 different masks like that. And I didn't know what it was at the time. So I took the picture to the botanica, and they explained to me like basically that was a way of El Egua letting me know that he's accepting me. And I didn't know that at the time. So, that was exciting. But thereafter after that, I didn't realize, but like, I continued to light my candles for El Egua every Monday. And come to find out, I had 3 windows in my apartment. Each window had a big handprint from the outside. Mind you, I live on the 3rd floor. So it's like, it was weird for me to like run across that. It was kind of almost like scary, but I guess the energy wasn't too scary at the time, just because I was new to it or whatever. So after that, I kind of continued. I was not really in the right area of life at the time. I was kind of struggling with addiction and with selling drugs and stuff like that. So I was just looking for guidance and something to protect me. So without realizing, I guess around this time, I had a reading, and in that specific reading, this is where I met my madrina at.
Okay.
She told me, she's like, hey, listen, from this reading, the sign is telling me that you just had a familiar death in your family. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but death comes in 3s. So it's more than likely going to come again, which she was right, because there was 2 times. One was an uncle. The other one was my stepbrother. And then another uncle had died right after that. So she was like spot on with what she said. She told me that, and then she started speaking into depth. At the time, I was at, a female friend's house of mine, and I specifically had told her to go into the next room because I didn't want her interfering with my reading.
Well, she comes out of nowhere and she's like, "Oh, I see a blonde woman in this reading. Who is this chick?" I basically let her know a female friend of mine's, and so as I'm going along with the reading, it was a little different. I'm like, how does this lady know all of these things? She doesn't even know me. She hasn't even met me at the time COVID was, beginning or whatever, and yeah, so it was just random. But moral of the story, she was just like, "Hey, listen, instead of having you do all of these like things, I could tell you to go get this candle and go get that candle and go get this candle. But what I'm gonna tell you is that if you choose for me to be your godmother, I think that will be a much easier route for you. And we could start off with either your guerreros or your elekis, which over time I ended up choosing my elekis. Now this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get on because I know there's other people that need to speak and whatnot. So around the time that I did the whole ceremony for my elekis, it was just funny because in that same reading, I was told that one of the mothers of my children had taken a picture of me and buried me in the cemetery. I didn't know that. Like I was just like, wow, I was like blindsided by this. So I was basically told, hey, keep your distance and you need to get your elekis like ASAP. Because obviously if it's either she wanted to put me in the ground or she wanted to get rid of me. So I did exactly that. But in the meantime of waiting for my elekis, I had waited for like almost a month. Like I had a lot of impatience, and I feel like it was the Santos testing my patience. So I had got the call about the elekis to go over there or whatever, and to wear my clothing from the night before to the ceremony para el rompimiento. So I did that. Come to find out, the stuff that I was going through at my house, stuff is moving. I'm starting to hear things walk. Like it was pretty freaky, seeing shadows, and at one point I felt like something was choking me out. So it was a new experience to me, like, and it was scary. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. But yeah, come to find out, after I finally got my elekis, a week after that happened, instead of anything happening to me, because now I'm protected, her other baby father, which was her man at the time, passed away instead of me, which I asked me, tell me this is crazy. So he was 27 years old. He died from a heart attack.
Jeez.
Damn.
No.
Too much.
So with that being said, it just showed me, like, basically you don't have to do anything or wish any harm upon anybody. The Santos will take care of it themselves for you. And it just felt really good to know that. Now, with that being said, I'm not gonna lie, I know still to this day, because I've moved on with my life, I'm in a good spot, but I know that same baby mother is still throwing stuff my way, because occasionally, I'll have like a heated like situation at my home, or just like I just feel the bad negative energy. But yeah, I'll cut it off with that there.
Well, one thing, man, while the elekis do provide protection, nothing is going to do for you what the guerreros can do for you. So I wouldn't, and in fact, that's actually the first thing you should always start with if you have the opportunity, is get your guerreros long before your collares, before your elekis, just because of the fact that that's Ogun, that's Osun, that's Ocholsi, that's Alegua. Having the Alegua head from a botanica is fine, but it's probably unconsecrated, so it's not going to it's not going to serve as more than a focal point. Get your guerreros.
Got it.
Get them. There's just, trust me, the things that you think are challenging now with your guerreros are going to be like water off a duck's back when you have your guerreros.
Now, here's my thing, right? And I kind of didn't want to talk too much because I was talking a lot, and like I said, I know there's other people that want to speak. But so with my whole madrina situation and her owning a botanica, like I have to go through somebody. They have like the business phone. So I feel like every time that I ask this person to help me with something, they're basically trying to finesse me out of more money. You know what I mean?
Hold on though. But here's the thing is you could pick a Babalao or a Santero of your choosing to get your guerreros from.
Yeah.
You don't have to let them, don't ever let a godparent, don't ever let a godmother or a godfather dictate to you who you go and get a particular something from.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing that your godmother is going to be responsible for is your ocha, and if you're a santero and don't move to Ifa, teaching you. But if they don't live up to their obligation, then very politely and respectfully walk and find your own. I guarantee you there's at least, I think all of it, there's at least two abuelos, two babalaos on here who are running solo right now because we've had to move on from our godparents for various reasons. So don't ever get conned in or get pushed into the idea, trapped in the idea that you have to stay with the godparents that you have. Because if they're not taking care of their responsibilities, that puts you at risk. And this is all about you and you making your life better.
Definitely.
So you can, if you decide that there's a wall down the street that you think would be a dude that you would click with, and that's who you want to get your guerreros from, then do it. And if your madrina gets all bent out of shape about it, then you know that the whole reason why she was pushing you to work with her is because she was looking at you as an ATM. And that's the last thing that a godparent should treat a godchild like.
Right.
So there's plenty of good priests that own botanicas. So just because she owns a botanica doesn't mean she's necessarily going to try and finesse you. A good kind of rule of thumb, if it comes out in a reading, then that's probably something you should do. If she suggests something just kind of off the top of her head, it might be just to try and get you to buy something. So that's kind of in my head. If I were you, that's what I'd go by. If you get a reading from her and it comes out, you should do this. If you trust her, then yeah, do that.
And see, I have an issue with the fact that she suggested you get your collares before you get your guerreros, knowing that you probably had a Legua poking his nose in your window, checking out who you are. That right there should have been hey, you need to get your guerreros, and she should have hooked you up with somebody to give them to you. So that to me throws a bit of a red flag, because it seemed to me like she was trying to influence you into the direction of things that will put money in her pocket versus things that would make your path better. And I'm not trying to disparage your madrina because I don't know her. I'm just saying that from my walk, that especially if I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, kind of a thing, that whole hindsight 20/20, something like this would have raised some red flags for me. And so I'm just saying, stick with her, because she may very well just be like,
Well, it sounds like she gave him the choice, right? She said you could. Yeah. So.
But it was kind of weird. Let me break this down to you too, right? So the lady from the store, that's the madrina, madama. They call her the madama, right? Okay, so she told me that I needed this, that, and the third. Now there's a whole different lady that when I went to get my alekis that did my ceremony. So like, I'm confused as to like, okay, well, you're saying that you're the madrina.
There will always be at least two priests involved in any ceremony. Always.
Right.
If you receive your alekes, you're going to have a second santera there, because you have to have what's called a eubonia, and that's the person that would stand in for your godmother for you. So if your godmother was to pass, then this person would stand in for your godmother for you. So that's appropriate that there would be somebody else there.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah. And my wife is over here saying that she likes what you guys are saying to me, because we had a situation, right, where there was somebody that I had got to know from the same brother-in-law that I told you how I got into this religion. Babalocha. He called himself a babalocha. That's what he said.
Okay, that's a santero,
yeah.
Right. So, but here's the thing, though. I started to see signs and things that he was doing. Now, with Santeria, you can't just make things up on your own. Well, you can't say, oh, I'm going to throw this together and I'm going to throw that together and we're going to do this way. but it really is supposed to be, simple, and you're supposed to do it the way that it's written to do.
By the answers.
So at eventually at some point, this is how like I kind of caught on to a situation. He had asked my wife to find him cat hair, right? He's like, oh, can you find me cat hair? So I don't know if you guys watch videos on YouTube and stuff, but I watched this guy. His name is Ochareo. He's from Puerto Rico. So he was talking about, basically an obra that you can do to separate two people. And I came to find out that the cat hair and the dog hair was used to separate two people.
Over there, we would come back with issues. Let him know that we asked El Legua to guide you if that wasn't the proper place for you.
Sure.
That to show you signs and open your eyes to what you were blind to.
Yeah, just be careful when you ask for a leg. He can be tricky. He can be like, "Oh, you really think you want that?" So just saying. But no, I get it. So like, here's the thing: is that there's always going to be somebody out there that's gonna that you pay them enough money, they're going to do something, whether it's ethical or the right thing to do. Like, somebody was to come to me and say, "I'd like to do an amarre because I want to keep this person from leaving me because they're the love of my life," kind of a thing. I'm going to be like, no. Because that's screwing with somebody else's life and destiny, and I'm not going to get involved in that because I'm not going to carry that debt. So right. Those sorts of things, yeah. If it sets you off as no, you're messing with some stuff that does it. No, I don't want part of that. That's a way. That's a good thing on your part.
And the most important thing you said so far was patience. So just be patient in finding somebody to get your LAY, your issue from. And trust your head. Trust your head.
Yeah, trust your gut's been pretty good for you so far. So just trust that. So.
Well, here's the thing, right? The most random thing that I have came across was your guys' page on Reddit. That's like, and just something told me inside of me, all right, you know what? I'm gonna join this Zoom meeting and I'm gonna see what this is about.
Let them know that you don't.
Join the Discord because there's a whole lot more conversation that happens.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more chat going on in the Discord.
Get into the Discord. So
you'll need the newest because it only lasts for like 4 days. But just somewhere in Reddit, post a comment under something like under the Zoom one and ask for the Discord invite, and then I'll get it to you.
Yeah, because this is what I got right now. All I have is I don't have anybody out where I live. I don't really trust in messing with anybody just because of the things that I've been through and what I've seen. When I got these Alekis, I got them, and then I had bought a statue online of the Siete Potencias. Just like a regular statue, nothing special. It's probably like a foot with Jesus Christ behind it. I had brought it to the Botanica. They blessed it for me. I brought it back home. So that's what my altar is about right now. But one thing that the madrina had told me was for me to stick with El Egua. That El Egua would be the person, basically my crown, even though obviously I haven't gone through any ceremonies to know who it is yet.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
And she might be right. I mean, if they've got enough experience and stuff like that in the religion, you're able to start picking up on subtle hints as to who the potential godparent or tutelary orisha, as we call it, is for someone. So that's a possibility. I'm not going to disparage that because I've seen my godfather's godmother, when there were bajons, she would run an office pool as to who was what, and 80% of the time people were paying her, not the other way around on that sort of stuff. So I think you're on the right spot, and being skeptical or at least cautious is the right way to go. Your experience, unfortunately, is kind of becoming more the norm than the exception. So retain that skeptical viewpoint on things. And if you want to talk to the biggest skeptic in the world, she's sitting behind me. It's been 15 years since she had her godparents, and she still won't choose someone to crown with because she doesn't trust anybody. So,
no doubt.
But anyway, interesting story. But let's flip it around, Curtis. Answer your own question about godkids.
Oh, as far as godparents, I do not have godchildren.
Do you want?
I've had a couple people that said, "Hey, let's do it." So I started collecting this stuff, because there's a lot that goes into it, but they all backed out. Hopefully this summer, I got a couple that's going to do it.
What are you looking for? Do you feel confident in it, or are you scared shitless?
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with that part. The part that I'll never be confident at probably is the actual plate, which is why I'll always have somebody else lead it. EOO, are you there?
Unmute yourself. Yeah, whoa.
And then David, who are you in Reddit's or the Discord?
Go over there. Pause. Bog.
I'll let her speak.
No one's unmuting themselves.
I unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. So David, who's that? Sorry, who was that?
I'm Roosterbat on Discord and Reddit. I'm the one that's looking for a house in California right now. I'm a Yobo. And I got crowned last year. And during that process, I found out that my padrino madrina have been doing bruja on me, and doing all that stuff. So when you're trying to say, oh yeah, it's hard to find a house and find a madrina, I'm like, yup, 100%.
Where
You
in
know?
California are you?
I'm in Central California.
How close to Moreno Valley?
About 3 or 4 hours.
Okay. All right. And you're in the Discord?
Yeah, I'm in the Discord.
Okay, I'm Crab. I'm the dude that's call me Crab in the Discord. DM me and I'll shoot you some info.
So David, how did you find out they were throwing stuff at you?
It was like my yobo, during this year is like everything started falling apart, and I'd go to my padrino and we did a rogation. I'm doing the everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and my padrino is Ifa. My madrina's, and they're doing all this stuff, but then everything started falling apart, and I couldn't figure out why. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna reach out and talk to another babalao, get another Ifa reading, and it kept coming up that this is going on. Oh, somebody's doing witchcraft on you, and when I wanted another opinion because you know how it is. You're like, nah, that can't be the case.
These people would never betray me like that.
Yeah. So then I went to a palero, and the palero's like, hey, he starts describing exactly what my padrino looks like. And he's like, I'm seeing this guy, and he's like working you with Osain, and he's working with Orun and all this stuff. And I was like, oh man. And I know exactly what he was talking about because I helped him do that one time to another ahado.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you mess around with a married girl and then she divorces and you get with her and then you're surprised when she leaves you. Yeah. It's like you were helping your godfather do bad stuff to somebody else, and then you should have seen that, that might be coming in the future.
Yeah.
So how did you find your godparents initially?
So I started doing tarot for a long time prior to coming to this, and I had a mentor, and for whatever reason, I was kind of having the spiritual journey. I was looking for things, and we would go to this Barnes and Noble book, and this book of Santeria fell on the ground. I was like, oh, what is this? And so I looked it up and started reading about it, and it's a crappy book, but it was the first book and so I talked to my mentor. I'm like, hey, do you know anything about this? And he goes, no. Well, I didn't know he had a day on all that stuff, but and it was like a month or two later, he's like, hey, do you still want to know about that Santeria thing? I'm like, yeah. Oh, there's a tambor going on next weekend. You want to come? It's like, sure.
Hell yeah.
And when I came, Yamaya came down, and she blessed everybody in the room. Laid down. She touched my wife's belly. She everything, give everybody blessings except for me. And I just remember I had to figure out what was going on. And so then I, went to Ifa, did the reading, and got my consultation, all that stuff. And yeah, Chango.
Who's your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've been with the house since 2006. So I've been scratched. I got scratched, right around that same time, and I jumped in both feet. And,
oh yeah, so did I.
We fought this year. After I finished my ocha, But now I'm like, okay, I want to wait. Yeah.
So,
So that's been my story.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many stories I hear like that, because I've never had anything close to that.
so, but all right, I'll go next, and then we'll get if I so want to go next. But me, I have godkids, but I never wanted them. My situation with my godparents was pretty nasty. I've told the story a number of times about how my godparents' divorce got in the middle of my ocha, like literally while I was crowning, and Ochun had to come out and kill her goat rather than killing her one of her godkids, or both, because both of my godparents are hijos de Ochun. And then fast forward 6 months, and well, actually fast forward 3 months, and Arula said, I give you 3 months to make it stop. So I did that, and it was pretty obvious why, because my godfather really decided he just didn't feel like it was necessary to teach any of his godkids. And Arula told me coming out of the throne, I'm going to give you, within the next 3 years, I'm going to change either who your godparents are, where you live, or where you work. Well, I still live and work in the same place. So he changed my godparents almost 3 years to the day. And my godfather and his godmother didn't like that. So they came after me and my wife with her prenda judía. And one night that ended up in my wife almost stabbing me and our marriage dissolving. So I kind of at that point in time said, fuck it, I'm just gonna be a babalao that cares for my family and just tries to keep everybody in the immediate family stable. So stepkids, wife, all of that. 2019, my Eubonia from Ocha called and said, hey, I've got some people who need to get their guerreros. And so I'm going to send them to you. I'm like, okay. They come to me, and their story is that 3 days after my first godson got the reading from his godfather, who was a babalao, that he needed his guerreros. Well, his godfather who did the reading died. Like, I guess cirrhosis or something like that. So that was why they came to me. And I tried several times to get Arula to let me pass them off. Like, I don't want these guys. I don't want these guys. I don't want to do this or anything like that. I don't want to be a godparent. And Arula kept telling me no. So eventually had the consulted with them to make sure that they would be, that Arula approved of them being my godchild, then asked the question again, that this is something that I should do. It would be great. He goes, you said you wanted to run a house for orphans, so this is where you're going to start. And fast forward, I've got about 6 god kids now. And every day it freaks me to F out about it, because I honestly don't know that I've got the skill set. Apparently I do, because everybody's happy and thriving and all of that, to be somebody's godparent effectively.
I'm going to do a version of Little Orphan Annie about your orphanage there.
I mean, why not? I think that tap dancing on walls should be a thing. We can go up against Michael Flatley.
Very salty.
My godparents were also, my Ifa and my Ocha godparents were also married and now divorced. So it sounds pretty common. But luckily that didn't get in the way of anything, though. Nobody almost killed anyone during my Santo.
Yeah, Ochuncita was not happy with the disrespect being thrown, because that crap went down literally as they were seating Yemaya on my head. I sat on the pilon with Yemaya being seated, my Eubonia behind me, who's in her late 70s at the time, so she's leaning on me for support, and all this other stuff, probably for 45 minutes to an hour, while whatever it is that caused the BS going on at that point in time between my godparents to break out. There was some fight argument between them and the 2 families, and everybody taking sides in it. So I was not real happy. And the pilon I was on was like, if I had sneezed too hard, it would have ended up being embedded in very uncomfortable places.
Yeah.
Not a comfortable one. So.
Anthony, you there? You want to talk about being a godparent and how you got How you were aware
guess
you were ready for
so.
it, and then how they found you?
Sure,
Um,
sure.
Sorry, that was
Um,
Anthony
Y pasó.
McFarland. Not Sorry, we have two Anthony's.
No worries. Yeah, so the process, I think I mentioned this to you all. I came up, I've been around this religion since I was 13. I'm now 43. I've been around it for just a long time. Came from an African American house, or Jamaican house, or we were all Black, no Spanish speakers. But that was all, way, way in the past. And getting to the place of knowing about the godparent thing, or understanding that I was ready, it took some time, and I'm still not even sure I'm fully ready.
Yeah.
Especially now with my current elders. But the only plante that I've ever done in my own home is Baba Curtis was there, and so that was it. Those folks are still with me on the path that I'm currently moving in traditionally, and so we're working that path. Now my goal is to make sure that I raise people that can have a stable spiritual home on their own. I want people to be able to not have to call me for every single thing. Like, they know that they can throw obi to their people, they can feed their ori, they can do whatever they need to do. So that's what I teach them. Then I teach them how to live their lives like any Christian or Jewish person or Islamic person would, because that's how we practice Ifa openly, and just that method. So that's what we do.
How do they find you?
Everything is a word of mouth. Like, everything comes from oh, here's somebody, and I don't take everybody, and it's not that I shouldn't, but now I'm much more in the public, because we started the temple here in July of last year, in Miami, traditional temple. And so starting that traditional temple, all of the elders who get calls from California or other places, and the people are here, they actually send them to me now. And so that's what we're doing. We're trying to develop a temple here and teach people how to be good people of Ifa and Orisha.
So how do you approach that with your god kids? Because my first godson is confirmed Camino Ifa.
Yeah.
He came out in his Bajon when he received his mono. He came out Osheme, and in Osheme, they confirmed that his godfather is working the chain in heaven so that he will be able to work it here on earth. And so he's chomping at the bit to not only crown, but then also go to Ifa. And I've kind of tempered that a bit by, hey, you know what we're going to do is we're going to start reading all the EBA Pataki books. We're going to start with Yobe, and we're going to go all the way through, and we're going to discuss as soon as we're done with, we're working on Iwodi now. We're going to go back and we're going to talk about what did Iwodi have to say, and what did you take away from that in various situations? Oh, and how does that compare to the previous ones? So I'm trying to use his thirst for knowledge as a way to also slow him down. Because I need to catch up a bit. But he's one of those guys, and I know it's because I was like that if he gets a hold of it and he runs too fast, he's going to trip over his own feet, fall down, and have some hardships that he shouldn't have. So how are you approaching the teaching piece with them to kind of keep keep them moving in the right way, but not give them enough rope to hang themselves?
Well, because we practice different systems,
right?
That's the training before initiation. But I don't there's also a there's a curriculum, and that's been established by Chief Popola, who's president of the International Council, and then our elders here in the U.S., all the Oluos here in the U.S., they've established a curriculum for what everybody needs to know and how we work through it. And so I just moved them through the curriculum as I went through myself, I move them through the process. You know, once you learn this, then we can move on to this.
See, we need something like that for the Lukumi side of things, because there's
Absolutely.
it just, I think it would get rid of people who wrote 26 books about Santeria via cut and paste in a year, kind of a thing. It really would.
Yeah, the big thing that changed is Lukumi used to be learn by doing, and then as it moved outside of just Havana, Matanzas, and Miami, then you had the need for books and a curriculum, and that just never happened, right? So, yeah, a curriculum would be nice.
And I can't necessarily say that learning by book on its own is necessarily bad, because I've gotten a lot of my own knowledge by hunting down a book or a pamphlet or an article on Scribd or something like that about what it is that I was looking to learn, that I needed the information on. So I think it has its place, but I still think the learn by doing piece needs to be coupled with a written curriculum of some kind. So I can say, look, go read. Okay, here's your next thing is this 600-page book. Don't call me till you're done. Just like that kind of a thing. I think.
And that also used to be how it was done in Cuba. My godfather in Anyao, who received Osign from Odika, Miguel Febles. Febles would give him a song and say, "Don't come back till you learn this,"
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Well, and my own godfather now is doing that. Like he's teaching me his abocatero, and he's doing so by he sent me a 4-page document that has the prayers that he uses for the maize, and then there's surere. And he's like, you don't get the next part until I can call you and you can give this to me backwards and forwards, no fuck ups. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Go down.
So, Anthony, somebody asked for the name of your temple. I went and shared in the chat. If anyone's interested, that's the Instagram for Anthony's temple, Okanran Sode, right?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. The other question I had here in the document that only me and Crab filled out was what's your routine? Now, Anthony, I know you probably got the longest routine here out of all the priests. Waking up at 4 a.m. and that crazy stuff.
Yeah. No.
So go ahead, Anthony. Tell us your daily routine.
So we wake up in the morning. I say we. I'm the only one who wakes up. But I do morning prayers. If I'm, I normally wake up and start studying first, because we have a lot of recitation within Ifa. And so I wake up and I'm usually studying for an hour or two, and then I'll before I get out of the house or get myself going, we have morning prayers. Usually lasts about 20 minutes. And that's, just to get the day started. And then once my day started, then we go. I usually, since I'm a teacher full time, all of my, or most of my Ifa work happens on the weekends, right? So that's the thing. But all that started, but most of that started when I was in Lukumi. I mean, when we woke up to, like, my godfather was like, you wake up in the morning, you say your Moyuba, you greet Orumila, you do your open the day, right? that was the thing, like, and he made us do it every day. And so that's kind of what I got used to. And it's not much different now from what I'm doing.
Iawo, are you still there? Have you unmuted yet?
I think
Iawo's
they
gone.
left the call. Yeah.
Okay. David, you want to talk about, as an EOO, what your daily routine is? And is Eric, are you a priest? I'm not sure. You might have already answered that.
My daily start off is I lay down to all of my saints. I'm out of my 3-month already, so they're lifted. But I go down, I lay down to all my saints, I greet them, I do my mayuba in the morning as the sunrise, and then I read my ita. That's what I do every day right now.
Learn that ita backwards and forwards, my man. There's going to be things in it that are going to be relevant now and then be relevant in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can tell you right now, my ita, I mean, this is probably a topic off, but it's very limited on what it was said, so I have to find find a book to fill in the pieces, which is why I'm always in the group like, hey, do you guys recommend any books? You know, is this book any good? Because
Have you talked to Rins?
Yeah, talk to Renz.
Yeah, I would just go in now in the Discord. Do you have a role? Is your name in red?
No.
No? Okay, then make sure you tag me, right? What the hell is my name in there?
Oconcolero.
Okay, Okolgolero, tag me and just say, hey, I need my role. That'll get you into the secret channel. And there you can just say, hey, Renz, here's the signs that came out. And then he'll talk all day.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
I would
Oh,
also
sorry.
recommend, if you can find it, a good book on the D-Lagoon, and have it, and then all the signs of the Padakis behind it. You know, a book like 16 Calories might be a place to start, something like that, just to give you a better grasp of it and what it is that your signs mean, and kind of in relation to the Santo, stuff like that. But Renz is an encyclopedia of that stuff. I'm sure if you since you're in California, if you offer to hook him up with Inertia's mom again and make Inertia disappear, he'll be happy to give you all the info you want.
Magic Mountain, but that's about the best he's gonna get out of me.
So
My routine is it's very little, right? But the good thing is I've been doing it for a while, because I've been really bad about it. But all I do, I got in the morning at work while I'm getting paid. I'll go to the random number generator and I'll pick a number from 1 to 16 and then do it again, and that gives me an Odoo for the day, right? Could do it with an Equilay, but I don't want it to be official, right? And then I'll just go read through that. I read through at least 3 stories. That's kind of been what I've been trying to do, is read the stories, 3 stories for that Odoo for the day. And then if there's time, go a little bit beyond that. But I've been doing that for like a year now, and that's been good. What I also did, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's something, is I made flashcards again for my Abo. I learned my Abo before my Quinaldo. But as you know, anything that you memorize that's 20 minutes long, you could cram for it and have it memorized for like a couple days. But if you don't reinforce it, forget it. Right? Like the Moyuba, I mean, I could go 5 years without saying it, and then I'd still have it memorized just because that's ingrained. But the Abo wasn't. So I've put all my prayers now into flashcards for the Abo again. And I need to add that now so I can get that done again. That's mine. And the thing that's been good is that I've been regular about it, not the amount of content. I need to up the amount of content. That's for sure.
So I find that doing the prayers for the Abo and the Sureye, like while I'm in the car driving, has been because you're stuck. You're driving, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, in Miami, that worked well because I had an hour commute every way.
Yeah.
Now it's like 10 minutes, so it's not as much time.
I'm gonna have to take my tactic because my commute coming up very soon is going to be across the hall. I don't really have a morning routine, and it makes me feel bad about myself. On Mondays, I'll sit and do a full reading with Arula to just kind of give me an idea about where my week is going to be. Do I come Osobo? Do I come Ire? Who's got my back that week and stuff like that. And I try to, and I'm bad about this part, but I try to then also take the Odoo and read it throughout the week so I can see if anything's changing and does a different part of the Odoo start to apply at a different time throughout the week. I need to get better about that. I don't really say my Mayuve and greet Orula or my Santos in the morning like I should.
Whose problem is that, Grandma?
So that's,
broke his LED light.
I need a better.
He broke the light bulb in his lamp.
And I'm trying to.
I don't know how that becomes my
I
problem. but he doesn't
know
like
how
the
much I
part.
owe
He still needs
Orula
to-
and especially Yamaya. And even John Go for the things in the last 13 years.
And everything's going to your room.
So.
I was saying that you could. I was muted myself. I was saying that you're the only one that could mute Gene, but it looks like they left. Anthony asked here, any good ways to prevent brujeria, thrown or clean myself? I would say if you've got El Igual, that helps a lot. right? Because you got Elegua, Uguno, Chosi, Osun that are helping you. Anyway, I mean,
So I think one thing that you can do, since you don't have a legua yet, is if you're if you're living in a town where there's like a Chinese population, you know, and they've got like a central market or something like that, go and they're literally they're feng shui mirrors, but go and get a set and put one somewhere down, you know, like by your door, because a lot of brujeria comes into your house through your doors, you know, like, hey, you open the door and it walks in with you, comes in on the bottom of your feet. So don't wear shoes in your house for one. But you can also get the mirrors off of Amazon. I got a set because I needed it for like $8, but just put one somewhere downstairs by the two doors leading to your house facing outward, so the brujeria coming thrown at you kind of reflects back.
Wow, that's crazy you say that, because my wife definitely told me about the whole mirror thing and facing the door. I just didn't, think it was that deep, but I guess she knows what she's talking about.
My padrino, who's been in this religion for a long time, said, yeah, I need you to do this for me, for you. You need to go get a set and you need to do this right away. And I had to do one with my Arula and one with my Alegua. But yeah, it's a thing. There are Odus that call, because of brujeria being thrown, that call for you to put a mirror reflecting, facing your doors, like that, to reflect that back. And if you have the statue of Alegua, put it with that statue. Just, again, it's not a consecrated Alegua, but you are, and I did that for the longest time, and it was covered in so much Manteca de Corojo, it turned white. But you are focusing, Alegua knows you're using that as a way to connect with him, and he seems to be okay with that. And just do that for now, and that should certainly help. But the feng shui mirrors are probably they're easy to find, which is why I suggest those.
I would suggest getting red, right, as well, maybe once a month. Just making sure not everything that's bad that happens to you is brujeria, right? A lot of people they blame it on that, and it's not really that. But if you get a reading, that'll let you know for sure.
Could you send the name of that mirror to me through the chat, just so I can?
It's feng shui here.
Yeah, feng shui.
Oops, I spelled it wrong.
Oh, okay.
There.
Copy. Got it. Thank you so much.
And also, if you look what I was talking about earlier with the beadwork, the bante that go on the bata drums, every single one of those has a mirror on it too, and it's to reflect spirits. So, thanks up, Michelle. Hello, are you? Who are you in Reddit / Discord? Discord. It sounds like you're Daft Punk. The sound I got there. Might have the audio still getting worked out. And David mentioned also, Anthony, doing baths, baños. You could probably just look up spiritist bath or white bath, stuff like that. A white bath is real easy. Basically anything that's white you can put in the bath. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely get a reading. Make sure that it is actually brujeria. Those were the things I had to talk about, and we are almost up on an hour here, so that worked out well. Eric mentioned, and I think Eric's the one from Reddit that this happened to. I got upset because someone, and it might be Eric, posted on Reddit, so they got their mano de rula, right, which is owo faca if you're a man, iko fa if you're a woman, and with that ceremony you should get a written ita. Because the whole point of that ceremony, number one, is the pacto orumila made with death, right? But number two is to know your destiny. And if you don't get that written down, how are you going to know your destiny? So to only get the sign is not doing you any favors, because now he's going to have to let us know what his sign is. We're going to have to get together, and that'll work. But there's no better time to know than that sign came out on the mat, and those awo that are there are talking.
But
And
beyond
that's why
that-
it should be getting written down.
But beyond that too, if you come to someone after the fact,
Yeah, we don't know the prophecy.
we don't know the prophecy, we don't know, did you come, Irea Sobo, did you come with the black, who's
Yep.
protecting you, who's granting you the Irea and walking beside you with that? Are there any prohibitions that were laid out for you? Because those will be prohibitions for lifetime. So it really puts you at an unfair disadvantage. And it really is unacceptable that these things are done. Unfortunately, it's extremely common.
So I told him, send me a picture, or if he knows the sign, send it. You don't need to share it with everyone. If you want to, you can. I know people that have said, "Oh, I can't tell you my sign." I'm like, I'm a freaking bubble owl. You're going to tell me you can't. But at the least you can share it with Awo, right? Other bubble owl. So what I told him we'd do is just send it to me, and then I'd get together with Anthony and with Crab, and we'll write something up for him. That way, at least he's got something to go by. And he might be one of your future orphans, Crab.
Well, I'm gonna have to put up a sign outside. Maybe I can get tax exempt status and some federal funds.
All right. Anyone got anything else?
Anybody out there? Any
Michelle, you got your mic figured out yet?
All I'm gonna say is this: I'm new to the group. I like the way you guys handled this Zoom meeting. Very respectful, very open to questions, and very interesting answers. So I definitely will be in touch with you guys.
Okay.
Hopefully, I could learn from you guys and just see where that goes for now.
Hope it works out. Yeah, that's the whole point, man. Is Michelle says she can't figure out the audio.
Have her type in chat.
Yeah. All right. So Crab's idea is to do this the last Sunday every month. So that would be then April 30th. So that'll be the date for our next meeting. If you are a priest and you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord.
Okay, I do have a question about the Mayuba.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now I know that every lineage has a Mayuba, but my Mayuba doesn't have a lot of context to it. It's literally just the Ipa, and then I have the 4 Mayuba to Olofi, Olorun, Olodumare, and then Orumila, and then that's it. And then it goes Iba, Aba, and then all that to the ancestors, and then the Kinkamache. But it's like a very condensed. So is there a Mayuba that I should be using or learning that is actually more fulfilling than?
I would not suggest changing your Mayuba until you settle on godparents that you're going to stick with. I'm in the same boat as you. The Mayuba I have, it doesn't even really have Kintan Shime parts and stuff like that. I'm a Babalawo.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
Mine's gonna be a bit different because I'm an Oluo. And the one like that, but the lineage that mine traces, I don't believe is the lineage of the house I came from. I just don't trust that they're being accurate with that or truthful. So I would suggest sticking with that until you find a house and godparents you're going to settle with. And if you go to Ifa, you may find that the Mayuba they expect you to use changes. So just work with what you've got, learn what you've got, embrace what you've got, and go from there for now. If you find that you switch another house and stuff like that, then consider learning their Mayuba, especially if it's a place where you feel you're going to put down roots and stay, because you want to now honor the lineage of the people who've embraced you.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to check to see, because my madrina told me her Mayuba when she first got it was super long and she made it short.
She may have looked at it and said, there's things there about, hey, thanks to Whitey who threw my ancestors on a ship that she thinks is completely unnecessary and pointless and not appropriate. Or a lineage that can't be proven. And so she dug a lot of that out. So since you weren't there for those decisions and stuff like that, then I would say just stick with it for now.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
go ahead, David.
no, I was just gonna say now that would be the Mayuba. I could still use that for the Obi and all that
Oh, yeah.
stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've had this Mayuba for 13 years or so, and I've just now come to the point in time where I've decided that I think I need to drop it and learn my current padrinos, because I don't see myself changing houses, and I want to honor his lineage for what they've allowed him to do for me, or what they've helped him do for me, because he's very quietly and enthusiastically had my back when I, in some cases, didn't even ask for it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So Anthony and Crab, there's actually two people in the Zoom tonight that did not get written ETA. So they sent me, both of them sent me their sign. So I'll send one to you, and hopefully we can get something put together between the three of us, so they actually have something to go by. All righty.
Sounds good.
Well, that sounds like a good place to stop.
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless you Will wanted to say something. I noticed you unmuted and you remuted.
Oh, yeah, well, unmuted.
Yeah, just briefly.
Is this ELO that Obalaye that works in the Botanica? Because I think that would be a cool topic for another one, is actually working in a Botanica.
Yep.
Um,
On that one.
Yeah, that, and then getting David Brown on. Tell him you'll order a bunch of his books if he comes on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let that rest for a few.
Oh,
And I don't know. I'm trying to get him interested, and I'm trying to let him know things are really appreciated. And right now, he just doesn't seem to be bothered with answering me on anything unless there's money involved in it at the moment. I'm gonna let things cool off a little bit there and circle back
Yeah.
with him. But I'll still keep at it. I'll keep trying. I keep telling him, I said, send me your promos or a coupon and stuff like that, and I'll throw it out there to the people.
Right.
That's 300 people.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, now that we're recording it, maybe it'll get some traction on YouTube, and if we can get a decent number of people, then that'd make it more worth it for him. But for that, we have to become influencers. So that's what we got to pray on tonight. 6 of David Brown's books, that's like $5,000 you just spent, David. Although if no one knows, Santeria Enthroned is reissued and only $45. So highly recommended. He's got one on Abakwa I want to get to. So, all right, we could talk all night, I'm sure, but I'm going to leave.
Send me your six books, and I'll get David Brown to sign them for you.
Thanks, Ifaso Bone, David, Iawo, Michelle, I'm not sure if you're a priest or not. So thanks to the priest that came out. Thanks to everyone else that came out as well, because if not, it'd be just priests talking to each other, and that can get very boring. Yeah. And next April 30th. So we'll see you then. Thanks to Crab for hosting it.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. Take care.